Okay, it's a kind of a sad day, more for Kevin than for me.
Kevin's really sad.
It's one of those, what do they call that when you have an attachment to something? You know, this man's first combine, right? It's kind of like first girlfriend.
Yeah. You don't want to see her die.
Exactly. Doesn't matter who has her.
That thing, it's worth saving. Needs a little love. This is actually my neighbor, and he stopped in at the shop, seen a couple of Cummins sitting around, and goes, "Hey, I need a Cummins." See that? That's not supposed to be there. V&R came through once again. The best place on earth, right, Kevin? That's right. We were about to scrap the combine, and we found an 8.3 out of a truck. This is a Ford. At the end of this, it'll likely be for sale. So stick around, see whether it's worth it or not. Kevin was never actually going to fix this combine. I don't want to bash my knuckles. Yeah, and you're gonna get me. Hi. This is a little bit. Okay, so if you guys didn't know, actually this combine, it was funny because
this was the start of this relationship.
Channel. Yeah.
This was the breaking point.
Yeah.
We got into it.
I needed some parts. You stopped in for something, and then you're like, "Oh, you got a Cummins? You need? Do you have something to this?" And I'm like, "Ah."
You rolled into my driveway one day because you knew I had the motor blown out of it, and you said, "Hey, V&R's got an 8.3 Cummins in on a shavings truck. I'll help you swap it, but we got to put it on YouTube." And I was like, "Oh, that sounds like a
The
pretty
biggest
good deal."
reason is I couldn't find the nut off the back of the injection pump, but
you wanted to know
that because it was ended up
Out
in
of the old
in the States. Yeah.
So anyways, we swapped that, and then and since then I live at Rich's in the winter.
So this was your first combine?
That's my first combine.
Yeah. So you've got how many hours in that seat?
I figured it all out once. I don't know, thousands. Like I think if you spent the whole year just in the combine, that was me. Like,
yeah. Okay.
It's 2000. I had it in 2007. I ran it 12 years. You know, 1,000 to 1,500 acres a year. So it was probably 15,000 acres I put on it.
Yeah, it's too bad. So then we fixed it up. We put the truck engine in it, and then sold
it. Worked great.
Worked great. Actually, Brian loved the thing.
Yeah,
so
he's way better. Oh, he's got a 2166, which is only 1 year older than this. He's got a 97, and this is a 98. So they're pretty much identical machines. He had it set up the same, 25-foot head aerial. So he's like, perfect. I got 2 combines exact, and this one always could have more power than the other one.
Okay.
But I think his other one needed that wastegate actuator, but he wouldn't change it because he's like, no, that thing's way too old, and you blew yours up after you changed it. I ain't changing it. So anyways, they just carried on at 1 mile an hour that one and 3 miles an hour in this one, and they pecked away at it. And then, well,
I actually did a lot of work for Brian before the channel. He employed me doing a pile of different stuff. I built his deck and fixed a bunch of his equipment. So, and then the last job I did for him was the Massey rebuild, the one on the main channel. But it's nice, a small town, and everybody still talks to each other and whatever. So it was nice selling it and seeing it still in the field and going to work. So I got 2 or 3 seasons out of it, 2.5?
This was its 3rd season.
Okay.
It's not true. I talked to Brian last night, and he's like, yeah, Rich always said he wanted to come out and take a video of it working in the field. But lots of times we had them both running. Well, too late. He said he had something burning up top. and he had it out, he thought, with the with his little fire extinguisher. And then I don't know, he was over there somewhere, and he thought, I'm gonna drive it up to the house to get some water on it. Well, by the time you got here, it was. We called the fire department. Hessels came over with their water truck, and they pretty much got it out. But by then there was so much. Yeah, like this melted the middle of the spinners, because I thought my brother's combine needs the electric fuel pump here.
We're like a bunch of
and I'm like,
I need that.
oh,
I need that.
somebody stole it already. But I don't think somebody stole it. I think it just kind of. I think this is part of it here. That's the pump part. I just all kind of melted. And so I'm like, yeah. And you're looking, you know, the hydrostat's been hot, the pump's been hot. It's like, this thing is yeah.
It's not worth doing. You're not.
No, you're not gonna buy this very heavily worn combine to start with, but it's good. Like, if you know someone that needs a transmission or a final drive, like I needed a final drive in mine, right? Like, that's all still good. The front end's all still good.
Yeah.
So there's parts available, but yeah,
there's a whole cab that's mint.
Was the door open when you got here?
Yeah.
Was that to let the mice out?
Maybe. Get the smell of the smoke out.
Let them out. That's right.
It's still got that nice aroma
Of the smoke?
of the rats, the mouse, the mouse, remember? Man, you come up here, you can still smell it. That air freshener is still working good. They're already taking parts out of it.
That's where they grabbed parts and left the door open.
Yeah, we're gonna get it out of here, but they can't tow it because the back tire burned off.
Right. So you need a tire regardless.
Yeah.
But then
Just to tow it.
it's pretty straightforward. You pull the
Well, when I blew the motor on it, so then I got before I got the fittings at home yet, hooked the cylinders up to a tractor so you can lift the head up.
Yep.
Then you park a cart underneath and they hit the head off.
Yep.
And then hook the same hoses into the steering cylinder and then towed it.
Yeah. Uncouple your shafts.
Yeah, uncouple your shafts
and then just tow it backwards.
yeah, and that's the job that I am not offering to do ever again.
Funny story. That's how I met V&R, because I built a barn for a guy and he couldn't pay the whole thing, so he gave me an M2 Gleaner combine, which is a fair sized combine. I'm like, oh, I'll tow it backwards. What you do is you stick the hydraulic steering cylinders
Right here.
into the auxiliaries, and then you can tow it backwards. So I spray painted in tow on the windshield, my 70 horse Zeter. I'm driving, and the problem is you have to drive
But the
the
combine
track.
wants, yeah, and then it wants to wander one way, so you touch the remotes, and then it going the other way. And like, I actually did pretty good. I had it for quite a while. I had it running pretty straight. I'm like, this isn't so bad. And then it started wandering on me. I could never get it straight again.
The issue is you're keeping the tractor straight, but you need to remember what your last function was.
Right.
Because if you do it wrong, you steer it either further into oncoming traffic or you put it in the ditch. You have to
You just gotta
steer
touch
it,
it.
bring
You just touch it.
Yeah.
And then it moves, and then it starts going the other way, and then the other way. And then you gotta remember that everything is like nothing is. It's not like your car, which you have solid steering. Like everything got a tiny bit of play in it, so it's gonna want to wander a little bit. Like if you're driving a combine down the road, you're always moving the steering wheel to correct it, right? So it's gonna do that in tow as well, and you got to keep.
So
Yeah.
when I made it to V&R, it took me 2.5 hours. Generally, it takes me 12 minutes with a car. It took me 2.5 hours, and I had to pry my fingers off the steering wheel. And they're like, oh, "You look a little flustered." I'm like, "Yeah, that was something." He goes, "You want a beer?" I'm like, "I need a beer."
I got in the house. My wife says to me, "What's wrong with you?" Just towed the combine home from the lake backwards. She's like, "So?" I'm like, "Yeah, you want to take? Have at her." So that survives though. We gotta save these. All right.
Oh, Brian's gonna appreciate that you stealing his nuts.
Put those on the next one. A little more. I'll be able to pick up the pace now. A little more power on the thing.
Do you know where the fire started?
He didn't know. He thought up here by the batteries. Like, I don't know. He thinks maybe the motor's still good, but like the fill cap's burned out of it. Well, the whole fill tube burned off it. The pump's like it's. If I was gonna use this motor, I would definitely strip it first.
Yeah, so that's what I was saying there. And it's it's not worth fixing, and we can't even do like a will it start video because we're gonna do more damage than if somebody wants to take it. They can still take it apart and fix it properly, but it's a complete disassembly of the engine. So we're not gonna do a will it start because it's there's the hydrostats, anything that moves, we can't do it. But we thought we would do an update on it anyway. So you had yours catch fire too?
Yeah, in the back. So I can show you on this one what happened.
Okay.
So this wiring harness here, which is supposed to be wiring harness, right? But then it goes to that shaker shaft, so it's always like doing this. So it got moving, and anyways, the wires are up that shorted out here, and then I had a little pile of this stuff laying here, right?
Yeah.
And started that on fire, and it was all smoldering and smoking, and some got inside there. So then, okay, clean that all off, because I smelled smoke in the cab. Like, cleaned all that up. Okay, got it. I did the next one, and it still smelled smoke in the cab. What? But the wind had blown the embers, and in here, this is all pile of dust in here, right? It all lays in here. And this was all smoldering. I think that's the fuel tank's right on top of it.
Yeah.
And mine's plastic.
Ooh.
So if it would have got a little hotter, and maybe melted a little hole in there, then yeah, my combine would look like this too.
Yeah. But you were smart. You spun the combine around.
I turned the combine around so the wind was blowing from the front, so that when I took the panels off the back, at least I didn't have a big gust of wind blowing up there.
That is what will set anything on fire.
Yeah.
Like when your car engine's on fire, you want to pop the hood. The second you do, it's over.
Get a bunch of air in there. And I think that's what happened here. As he was driving it, right, the wind got in there.
Yeah. So there was a pile of fire extinguishers in the picture, I thought.
Yeah, so I guess all the neighbors were coming with fire extinguishers, but it's never, like, when it's going like that. Brian's kind of cheap like me. He's like, I keep using these fire extinguishers. Like, he says, this is dumb. I know I'm not going to get it out. And every fire extinguisher is another $50. Right, you need that big water, right?
Yeah.
Right. So if anybody in Ontario needs some parts, just talk to Brian.
Comment on the video. I'm sure
Theo will hook you up.
Theo will hook you up in the comment section. He'll be all over this.
Yeah.
So, I'm sure there's some stuff for sale because there's already animals living underneath the header.
Oh, yeah, we see the holes over there.
Yeah, and it's not gonna get any better.
No.
That's too bad.
I ain't gonna bet that next year the corn will get planted around it.
Can we not release this video until then and have the corn growing around?
We'll update that on the gram.
Nice. Yeah, farm safety's no joke. Take always fire extinguishers, be aware, any smells, anything in the cab, any noises, anything that doesn't feel right, any lugging, any odd stuff, just stop, get out, take a look, because this is what happens.
I thought when you heard those noises, you just reached up and turned the knob of the radio volume up.
There's two kinds of operators.
And then that noise goes away.
I know Brian, so his driver, I remember him telling me, he calls me up and he says, my driver is in the combine, he says, I'm stuck. I'm like, oh crap, I'll be right there. So he gets there and there's no mud on the top of the tires. And his driver's in there eating his lunch. He goes, yeah, I knew I was gonna get stuck, might as well stop. Right? Some guys just try to get out, bury themselves and full of slicks. He goes, that is the best operator that you can have.
Oh, okay.
Just sit there, have your lunch, wait till I get there.
All right, that is brand new pulley. Take that one.
Yeah, take that home. Definitely need that. The belt. The bottom of the auger looks kind of fresh.
How many mice are living in here, you think? Oh, that's just water in there.
I think it's gold. At least it won't freeze though.
Yeah, I think so. Now you'll be able to get the elevator chain if you want it.